Hi, welcome to Something Delicious with me, Geeta, where I'm going to show you how to make yummy dishes with step-by-step instructions. Today we're going to focus on different types of grains. Here I have white basmati rice. I know a lot of people say basmati, but it is basmati. So this is white long grain basmati rice. And this here is quinoa from, you all know what my favorite store is, Costco. So this is from Costco. I want to just go over how to make foolproof rice and quinoa so it's not clumpy, it's not undercooked, it's not dry. There are some special secrets, and if you do it like this every time, your rice is going to be delicious, just like in the restaurants. Okay, so now we're going to talk about quinoa. This is a newer grain, and many people cook this in rice cookers or they cook it directly on the pot. on the stove. I do that too, but I have a little trick. The fun thing about quinoa is that it doesn't take that long to cook, and you don't need to wash it. This is already washed. It's all written there. This is an organic product. So here's what we do to make this quinoa. So first thing first, here are the cardinal rules, and these are rules that I made up, but it works. So if you're cooking 1 cup of quinoa, you're going to use 1 tablespoon of butter melted, and you're going to use a 1 quart pot. And that's how you're going to measure the water. That's just like an easy rule, 1 cup to 1 quart, super easy. And for every cup of quinoa you're cooking, you're going to saute that in a little bit of butter. That's going to be 1 tablespoon, and all of this will be down in the recipe. So I'm just taking regular butter. If you only have salted butter, that's fine too. So I'm going to cut 1 tablespoon. Place your butter in there. Let it kind of swirl around. And you want the butter to melt and get a little brown. You're basically making a very small amount of ghee, and you don't have to go to the store to buy it. I'm going to go into my pot here. Let me lower the flame so I don't burn it. And here's 1 cup of quinoa that I'm going to pour right in here. I'm going to saute, and I would turn on a timer for 5 minutes. I do this all the time, so I know, but the other day I actually timed myself. It was 5 minutes. So you want to saute it like this for a solid 5 minutes. Now, why are you doing this? You're doing this so that quinoa, each grain, is coated with the clarified butter or the ghee, and that really helps when it cooks because each grain will cook, but then it won't stick together. It'll be separate. After you've let this cool for just like 5 minutes or so, you're going to add some water, and just regular tap water is fine. And if you look over here, the water is just above the level of the quinoa. I'm going to add a touch more, but here's the very scientific method. You're going to take your finger and you're going to put it so your fingertip is at the surface of the quinoa, and the water needs to be at the first line on your finger. When that water is at the first line of the finger, that means you have enough water and you could start cooking. So I promised you it was going to be scientific. So I'm going to put my finger in here, and it's a little hot. That's why I waited a little bit, but still, it needs just a touch more. So my recommendation to all of you, unless you have asbestos fingers like me, wait like about 5-10 minutes. So now I'm putting my finger in there, and if you could see, it's at the level of the first line on my finger. That means we have enough water. And as you could see here, it's not a lot of water. It's not like it's double in size. That's all the water you need. You're going to turn it on, put it in like a medium flame, and this thing is going to start to bubble away. When all the water is gone from it, you're going to put it at the lowest setting put the lid on, and here's another very scientific thing. You're going to set the timer for 17 minutes. And it's 17 minutes because I don't like even numbers. So it's an odd number. 17 minutes, and at 17 minutes, you shut it off, you take the lid off, wait about 10-15 minutes before you start eating. Practically all the water is gone. So I'm going to put it on low. I'm going to put a lid on it. Now the clock went off for the quinoa, so I'm going to shut this off. And what I usually do is take the lid off, and you can see when you take the lid off, do you see all the little holes over there? That's that water going through, and it's just made little tunnels over there, but this is going to be perfect. Don't start digging into this right away because then things will stick to the bottom. Wait about 10 to 15 minutes, it'll cool nicely, and then enjoy. So it's been about 10-12 minutes and this quinoa is nice and cool. Now you could start plating it, and you see, look at how it's just coming out in nice little grains here. It completely lifts off from the side of the pot. Nothing is sticking. But here you go. Yummy quinoa that you could add to anything. I do suggest that if you're going to use this in salads or anything like that, really let this cool, because otherwise it's not going to really marry well with your other vegetables and things. So I would spread it out on a cookie sheet and let it just cool like under a fan. But there it is, quinoa cooked nice and easy. So when you have white basmati rice like this, the best thing to do to make sure that you get really good rice is take 1 cup of rice and soak it for like about a half an hour. If you soak it longer than that, there's no harm, but a minimum of half an hour you should soak it. If you can't soak it at all and you want to do it right away, not a problem either. But the most critical part of making basmati rice is you wash it really well. And you see how the water is really cloudy. You don't want that cloudy water when you're cooking. So you're going to keep rinsing till, and you want it to be cold water. If it's hot water, you don't want to inadvertently start any kind of cooking process. So you want cold water. I'm going to wash it again because the water still looks cloudy. And it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 times before that water is clear. And the water's turning a little bit clearer. I think one more time and I'll feel really happy with this. I feel happy with this. So I'm going to rinse and just stick my hand here for a second. And then I'm going to take this and stick it in this strainer because I want this rice to really drain well. So same thing, I'm going to turn the stove on. You want to always make sure before you put butter or oil or anything in a pot that the pot is warm. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to cut myself 1 tablespoon of butter. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. So same thing, you want to swirl it around, let the heat do its thing, and you see the foam is coming on the side. That means it's almost ready for prime time. Now you're going to put the rice, and it is the same exact thing like the quinoa. You want to saute it for a good 5 minutes or so. You want every grain of rice to be coated with that ghee. A good thing to do if you're going to do all of this, like make the grains and stuff, this is the perfect thing to make on a Sunday, whether it's quinoa or the basmati rice or both. If you make this ahead of time, then you have this all week long. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And stir, stir, stir. It is not absolutely essential to add the salt. If you don't usually add salt to rice, no big deal. You don't have to add the salt. When you take a look at this rice, you'll know when that rice is really well coated with the ghee, because it will like look very white and opaque. So I'm gonna do this for another like minute or so. And like I said, when you're first starting out, if you want to know exactly how long, I would set a timer, 5 minutes max. I poured enough water. Now I stuck my finger in, and it just needs like the smallest splash. And if you can see, actually another small splash. This is exactly at the line, the first line on my finger. I'm feeling good about this. Now I'm going to turn this on medium heat. Once all the water's gone, we're going to put the lid. Almost all the water is gone. You're seeing these little holes. Set your temperature to low, put a lid on it. Don't open that, and set your clock for 15 minutes. The timer has gone off for the rice. I'm going to shut the rice off, take the lid off, and just like the quinoa, we let this cool for a good 15 minutes or so before we start digging in. So now it's been about 10 to 15 minutes and the rice is cooled. So now you could serve it. And just like the quinoa, you see nothing sticks to the side. And the rice is one separate grain after another. And if you could see, the bottom has like a slight brown hue to it. That's just whatever the solids from the melted butter, the ghee, that's settled to the bottom. So here's your rice. Enjoy. Thank you for watching this video on how to make grains. If you're interested in how to make brown basmati rice, the directions are in the description. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the like button, and we will be posting new videos every Saturday, so please look for those. See you next time.